What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Connor with TGN and VMRPtv, and welcome to the video, guys. Today we're going to be doing our review of the iPhone 5. We've had this for a few days now, actually since the release date on September 21st, and we have a lot of good things to tell you about the iPhone 5 and a lot of really bad things that people really haven't been talking about the iPhone 5 to tell you. So there's a lot to talk about in this video, guys. Let's go ahead and dive right into the first thing, and that is hardware. Now, the hardware on this device is amazing. Actually, very impressed with the new designed Lightning bolt port, as well as where the headphone port is, or the headphone jack is in a great place now on the bottom, so you can just slip your phone in your pocket. You don't have to worry about that, and it's just overall a much better experience on that side. Also, I like the speaker. The speaker sounds actually better and louder than before. That wasn't really an upgrade necessarily, or wasn't as big of a deal, but it just sounds a little bit different to me. Also on the side, I do like the volume rocker, how it is. That didn't change in the previous iPhone 4S, but that being said, compared to other phones, I like how Apple does it. I also like the silent switch on there as well. Now, moving to the top of the phone, I like the lock screen button, very nice, clean, and very simple look. On the other side, you just have your micro SIM port. Now, that's great for the externals of the device. Look overall is great. The big thing with the iPhone 5 was the screen getting bigger, so we'll go ahead and talk about that in a little bit, but overall the screen is bigger, which is great. You're going to get a nice pixel density that is great as well. Pixels per inch is just amazing, and that's going to be coming from the Retina display. So let's go ahead and talk about the camera. Now, the rear-facing camera didn't get a huge upgrade from the 4S. It's going to be a little bit better in low-light situations, which isn't a huge deal. Most of my pictures are in low-light situation, indoors, and things like that, but for the average person, it's really not going to be a huge deal. Now, what's going to come into play the most is going to be the front-facing camera. Now it's 720p, which is great. A lot of people use their front-facing camera to take pictures with friends and things like that, so you can actually see how the picture is going to line up. You don't have to worry about turning the phone around and hoping that you line up the picture correctly. With the front-facing camera, you can actually get a nice quality picture, and now that it's 720p, you can actually get an HD picture out of it, which is really, really cool. Not only that, but you can actually go ahead and slide up on your phone while it's locked and quickly take a picture, which is really cool. If you ever caught your friend doing something dumb or just something cool you want to take a picture of, whether you see like a UFO, whatever's going on, you can go ahead and quickly take a picture or video of whatever's happening, which is great. Previously on my Android phone, I had to go ahead and unlock it, find out where the picture or the camera app was, wait for it to load, then take a picture or video. Whereas with this, I just go ahead and unlock, or don't even have to unlock the phone. I literally just click the camera button there, or slide up on the lock screen, and then take that picture. So it takes probably about a fourth of the time as it would on other Android type phones. So definitely loving the camera on this phone. So let's go ahead and move on to the internals of the iPhone 5. And actually, when you go ahead and unlock the screen, you can see nice, high quality, great. But once you launch almost any application other than Facebook and a couple of games, they just don't look good. And the reason for that is because they're not fit to the iPhone 5 screen size. They're actually still on the 4S screen size, which is much smaller. So you really don't get that screen reality that you were hoping to get out of the iPhone 5. It's actually just the 4S screen on an iPhone 5, which is really disappointing. They talked about how developers would have to go in and resize the apps, but overall a lot of developers haven't done that yet. I'm sure they will in the future here, but they just have not done that yet. So overall, apps do not look great on the iPhone 5, and it's a huge disappointment because 90, 95, almost 99% even of apps will not work correctly on the iPhone 5 on the side, on the screen reality side. They will work, but they just won't look as good as they should. Now, that being said, why do they really have to have the developers resize them? I don't know. And the reason I'm saying that is because if you've ever owned an Android phone, you'll know if you pick up any Android phone of the hundreds that are out there, and whether it be a 4-inch screen, 3-inch screen, 2-inch screen, whatever the Android phone is, that app that you're going to use fits on the screen. It's stretched perfectly. It doesn't look distorted in any way. It just fits on the screen. Now, the developers, I doubt, would have to go into each one of those applications and fit them to every phone individually. So I don't really know how Android does it, but I would imagine Apple could do something similar with that, where apps actually fit the screen, even if they're stretched a little bit, if they just look nice. Because right now it looks kind of dumb, and why would you buy a phone for a bigger screen if your apps will not allow that bigger screen? It's just dumb. As of right now, I'm saying that the iPhone bigger screen is not a reason to upgrade. So if you're looking for a bigger screen out of your iPhone, as of right now, I don't think that's a big selling point for the iPhone, just because the apps will not work with that bigger screen. Now, another huge fail from Apple was Maps. Maps, I'm sure you've all heard about by now, was a total disaster. And yes, I am going to call that a total disaster because I was like, hey, this is a really cool application. It's a great selling point because all these Android phones have maps and navigation, turn-by-turn guidance for free with your phone, or it goes through your data plan, but you don't have to buy an individual app. There are other apps on the iPhone side where you can go ahead and spend $50, $20, whatever, and buy a GPS or turn-by-turn guidance, maybe a TomTom app or something like that. So there are alternatives, but Apple now has released their Maps application, which is really cool. It looks nice and high quality, but it will not take you to the right place, which is almost true in every case. Now for me, I used it twice and both times ended up in the wrong place. Very disappointing. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you my 2 incidents. First one, I was looking to go get a haircut. I knew roughly where the haircut place was, so I went ahead and typed in sports clips, and I knew roughly where it was. I didn't know exactly how to get there, so I followed the GPS. It takes me to a nursery, which is about a quarter mile away from there, and says that is sport clips, and that's in the general area. So what does that really do for me? Nothing, unless I am somewhat knowledgeable about where I'm going, which in most cases, if you're using a GPS, you're not really going to know where you're going. So I pull up to the nursery and I'm like, hey, that's kind of not awesome. I'm not at the right place. Now luckily I was able to spend about 5 minutes and found the haircut place, but overall it was not a very good experience. Now to get back home, I was thinking, alright, cool, I'll just go ahead and use Siri and say take me home. I had to just set up Siri, which is pretty cool, but once I got it all set up, I realized that Maps does not recognize my address. Now my address I've used in multiple GPSs, probably about 5 or 6, plus Google Maps, and I've never had an issue. And then with this, it actually wanted to take me somewhere 3 hours away from where I was in the inner city of Chicago. So I have no clue why Maps is so far off, especially with that exact address that I gave it. It was not even close. And that being said, I tried it without the lane because I live on Surrey Lane. I tried it without the lane and it still was off by a lot. I wanted to go somewhere else. And even though I gave it the exact address with the zip code, house number, and everything, it just did not want to take me there. So that was interesting. Both times could not help me out. I've also heard a ton of stuff like the Statue of Liberty just isn't there. Certain museums and certain places of worship and things like that are just listed as like hotels. I don't understand that. Just a lot of things wrong with Maps. To be honest, Maps was a big selling point with their new iOS and their new iPhone. It was great to see that they were progressing, but it's a huge step backwards. Not only is their iPhone 5 or their apps are not really correctly done as far as I can tell, with that screen reality issue, on top of the Maps application really just sucking overall. That's not very good. So continuing on with failures from Apple, you guys can see this video I have for you is a big fail. I went ahead and opened up the App Store the other day and noticed that my screen was flickering, and I had no clue why I was doing it. It's kind of like a weird bugged effect with the keyboard. Now I don't think it's the actual hardware of the iPhone, because it only happens in that area when I open the App Store and the keyboard on that, whenever I open up the App Store and the keyboard, that's what happens. So and it's not all the time, it's occasionally. It's happened 4 or 5 times now. Additionally, on the same thing, when I open the App Store and that keyboard, sometimes the Q button or the Q key glitches out. Now, that being said, since then I've actually changed the keyboard to an emoticon keyboard, so that's different, and it hasn't happened. So I think it's a bug in their iOS. Not a huge deal, but it's another thing. Why is that there? You didn't bug test that? What's going on there, Apple? So 3 huge fails from Apple. The apps don't fit the screen correctly. Maps just sucks, and there's a keyboard glitch in the App Store whenever you open it. For me, at least, I really don't think it's the iPhone. I think it's more on the software side, because as soon as I change the keyboard, it stopped happening. Now, all of this being said, what do I rate this device? I would say I rate it about a 6 out of 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. Now 6 probably sounds pretty low, and I've always used Android in the past. I'm switching over to Apple. I'm trying to be a non-biased person here, but to be honest with you, they have a lot of failures with this whole iOS launch. Maps just sucks. The image or the apps are not resized correctly, which I think it would be really easy to do. Right now they just look dumb, and it's kind of a pointless upgrade to the iPhone 5 if the apps are still using that iPhone 4S screen size. So why would you get a bigger screen if you literally cannot use it? It's just dead space on your phone, which is more to carry. Really all you're going to be getting is a lighter phone from the 4S to the 5, and that's it right now. Now that being said, if they fix Maps, if they go ahead and fix the majority of developers fix their apps so they fit the iPhone 5, maybe it'll be up there, maybe an 8 or 9 out of 10, but those things need to be fixed first. To be honest, what I would have done if I were Apple, and maybe this isn't possible, I'm not obviously working with Apple, I don't really know exactly how things work, and it really isn't something that would be up to decide, but I would have told my developers, hey, this is what you need to do, can you do this, here's the codes that you need to do, whatever, so you can have your apps resized for the launch of the iPhone 5, because as of right now, there's really no point of getting an iPhone 5, because the screen difference, you can't use it unless you want to use Facebook or texting, and that's really it. You want to watch a YouTube video, you're watching it with black bars on the side, which is just unacceptable. How many people watch YouTube videos with black bars on the side and enjoy that quality? It's just not good. So how many people want to play a game on their iPhone or watch a YouTube video on their iPhone with 2 big black bars on each side? It just looks very, very low quality. So overall, iPhone 5, unimpressed. Very, very poor quality overall. I would actually go with any recent Android phone, to be honest with you, and I was trying to switch over from Android to go to Apple, and I'm just unimpressed by this. But I do think in a couple months this could be a much better phone than it is now, but as of right now, it's just kind of a broken experience, especially on that app side. That really pisses me off. If you have a phone that's selling point is a 5-inch screen or a 4-inch screen when you could really only use like 3 inches of it. Like, what's the point of that? So guys, that's my review of the iPhone 5. Overall, you know, I like the Thunderbolt port. I like some of their upgrades. Overall, it's stylish, a very, very stylish phone. It looks great in your hand. It's got a lot of swag to it. It's got a very bold statement of I am an iPhone. It looks great in your hand, but it just does not work the way I want it to, guys. So that's my review. What do you think about the iPhone 5? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Are you an Apple fanboy? Are you an Android fanboy? Tell me in the comments below. Leave this video a thumbs up and a favorite if you did enjoy it. If you want to see more of me, go ahead and check out my personal channel, VMRPtv. Till next time, guys. Peace. This video is part of The Way Movement, a career path in video sponsored by TGN. To learn more, visit tgn.tv.